right, let's go around and be looking at Ricky Gervais. Oh, woke culture. It's funny because woke seems to be a regular refrain of the reason why so many comedians all over the place just they're not on TV or they've been canceled or what have you. And the problem with the word woke is the original intention of it and the modern definition of it, two wildly different things, and weaponized two wildly different ways. To say that woke culture has gone overboard is kind of an understatement, but yeah, let's see what Ricky has to say on the subject, shall we?
To me about another comedian, they say, oh, they're not funny. Even if I agree with them, I stand up and I say, well, you can't say that. You've got to say, you don't find them funny, you know? And I hate it when people say, that joke was offensive. I got to say, no, you've got to say, you found it offensive, because it's all about feelings, and feelings are personal. And
bro, on both of those things, because comedy, a lot like other forms of art, is subjective. It's how it hits you, whether or not you actually find that comedian or his jokes funny or not. And that's one of the things I see in my comments about different comedians. Oh, they're funny as a headache, or they're funny as this, or they're funny, you know, showing their disapproval on the comedian that they do not agree with. But the whole offensive thing, it seems to me that everybody wants to find things offensive. And that's one of the things for me, I think, especially here in America, and I don't know how it is over in other countries, but I know here in America, everybody is perpetually offended by everything, whether it be something that's happened in history, because they're trying to rewrite truths these days, or whether somebody wants to take a section of a joke or a program or a song out of context completely, and they find offense to it. And it's like, that's offensive. No, you're just a fucking crybaby is all it is.
there's loads of types of comedy, and comedy evolves, you know. There's a new type of comedy at the moment called woke comedy, right? No, it's very progressive, you know. There are some clubs now where the comedian has to sign a thing saying he won't say anything contentious, or he won't say anything that could offend anyone. It's a safe space.
Say what? That doesn't sound like a fun time whatsoever. What are you going to do? Sit and stare at each other all show?
For the audience, woke comedy. And I tried to watch a bit of it, and I decided I'd rather watch Louis C.K. masturbate. Can't mention him anymore. He's cancelled. Not enough to apologise and move on. You got to. And the big controversy last time I did it was a Caitlyn Jenner joke, right? Oh, outrage on Twitter the next day. And by outrage, I mean a couple of people going, it was transphobic. It wasn't transphobic in the slightest. It was a joke about a trans person, but the joke had nothing to do with that aspect of her existence. And that's the other thing about offence. People get offended when they mistake the subject of a joke with the actual target, and they're not necessarily the same. I'll tell you the joke. You make...
Bro. This, like, oh my God. That right, oh my Jesus. 100% correct on that. I mean, people... One of the problems with this offensive mindset, this perpetually offended mindset, is the inability to distinguish nuance and tell the difference between they're joking about someone or a subject matter in and of itself. Which, if you're on Twitter or X as it's now called, and it doesn't take much for people to get enraged. I find it funny, all the people that have gotten called neckbeards on there, and it's like, bro, you know, I'm sorry, but if you're raging at someone on the internet, you might as well be living in your mom's basement too. Just throwing that out there. Bro, he is 100% spot on with this so far.
Make your own minds up, right? So... It's live, so they go, and now your host for the 68th Annual Golden Globe Awards, please welcome Ricky Gervais. They go, and they're all clapping, all the actors are looking up, smiling at me nervously. It's brilliant, right? So I just go, relax, I'm going to be nice tonight. I've changed. Not as much as Bruce Jenner, obviously. But if you're the type of person to revel in someone getting cancelled for something they said 10 years ago, you're just ensuring that one day you'll be cancelled for something you said today. You can't predict
100%.
what will be offensive in the future.
People don't take into account, number one, the fact that people's Mindsets change, people's opinions change, people's philosophies change, people in general change within a 10-year span. And holding someone accountable for something they said 10 years ago when they're at a different point in their life is absolutely just bonkers in my, like, it's insane. And I'm sorry if you watch this and you follow me and that's the type of mindset you have. I pity you. We can all agree that slavery was bad. The people trying to hold historical figures accountable for stuff that happened in a time when it was globally accepted and has been for millennia throughout, but painting them just in the light of, oh, they supported this, in my opinion, and erasing any good they might have done within society at that time for whatever country or on a global fucking scale, in my opinion, is absolutely asinine. We understand that it's bad. It's not acceptable. You can't own human beings. But we also have to understand that these at points in time, it was globally accepted. It was the mindset. You would have been no different. You would have followed the same tune. You're not morally superior just because you were born in a different time. And that's something that so many people just can't seem to grasp. And it's one of the things that's leading to so much history, the attempt to erase so much history because, oh, I find that offensive. And to me, that's so mind-boggling. So mind-boggling. And the fact that so many people got outraged about what he said about Caitlyn Jenner. Talking about, changed or whatever, not as much as Bruce, obviously, in that little joke at Caitlyn Jenner, not at the trans community in general. Bro, the level of bullshit, the level of self-hatred you must have for your own self to be that insecure, in my opinion, that says more about you to get offended over jokes about someone without distinguishing something.
You said today, you can't predict what will be offensive in the future. You don't know who the dominant mob will be. Like the worst thing you can say today, get you cancelled on Twitter, death threats, whatever. The worst thing you can say today is, women don't have penises, right? Now, no one saw that coming.
Right.
There are no 10-year-old tweets of people saying... You won't find a 10-year-old tweet of someone saying women don't have penises.
Because it was accepted back then. Women have fallopian tubes and a womb and stuff like that. And we're not talking about the rare exceptions of chromosomes or anything like that are used as a standard to take and justify a stance. But, it was generally accepted 10 years ago that women didn't have penises.
People say, you won't find a 10-year-old tweet of someone saying women don't have penises. Do you know why? We didn't think we fucking had to. Try and explain.
But also 10 years ago, this subject matter wasn't as big of a thing as it is now. It wasn't, I'm almost going to say in vogue, because it's almost in vogue, in my opinion, to be part of that community, whether you actually are or not. And in my opinion, that's one of the things that's giving so much backlash from people who aren't part of that community. Because it seems like there's been a large bandwagon and people that truly take and feel as if they were born in the wrong body, I think are being done a serious injustice.
To someone every day what freedom of speech means, particularly in the context of comedy, and particularly in the context of a joke, that a joke about a bad thing isn't as bad as the bad thing. It's not even necessarily condoning the bad thing. It could be anti the bad thing. It depends on the actual joke. And this woman said, you should never make jokes about food allergies.
Really?
I should have left it, right? I sent back, I make jokes about AIDS, cancer, famine, and the Holocaust, right? And you're telling me I should never joke about food allergies. She sent back, yes, but the Holocaust didn't kill children.
What? Yo. What the hell? Oh my God. You're going to... they get offended over jokes about food allergy. Bro, people don't understand that a lot of times the jokes take and bring things to the forefront to take and spur conversation about things that need to be talked about in whatever light, right? But a lot of times to take and, get you to take and chew on some stuff. But the whole the Holocaust didn't kill children. What history book did you not crack open?
It did, didn't it? It was horrible, the Holocaust. Some would say as bad as food allergies. Oh, women. Not all women. I mean the old-fashioned ones. You know, the old-fashioned women. Oh, God. You know, the ones with wombs. Oh. Those fucking dinosaurs. No, I love the new women. I know the new women. They're great, aren't they? You know, the new ones we've been seeing lately. The ones with beards and cocks. They're as good as...
Yo, I love what he's doing here because he's taking a poke at the marginalization of biological women that's being done in society right now. Like, this was... I'm sure people were offended at this part, probably. But what he's doing is he's bringing about the fact that biological women, with this whole feminist movement to take and include trans women in the process, have marginalized biological women because I'm sorry, you weren't part of the fight for equal rights or equal pay or anything of that nature, but yet you're being added to the fact that trans women have been added to that whole conversation, in my opinion, marginalizes the struggles of women within, especially classic feminism, to get to a point of equal footing. To me, that's crazy, but that's kind of like what this does. Oh, those dinosaurs, like poking just. Oh, that was funny though. The ones with beards and cocks. Because, oh, Jesus.
Lately, the ones with beards and cocks. They're as good as gold. I love them. No, it's the old-fashioned with it. And now the old-fashioned, they go like, oh, they want to use our toilets. Why shouldn't they use your toilets? For ladies. They are ladies. Look at their pronouns. What about this person that isn't a lady? Well, his penis. Her penis, you fucking bigot. What if he rapes me? What if she rapes you? You fucking turf whore. Welcome to my show.
Bro. And the thing about it is, like, the insanity of the situation, I think, kind of a little bit from both sides, because while too much has been put on, I do think too much pushback in some aspects of some things. Now, granted, like, he's kind of showing the insanity of the conversations that we've been having in society, I think.
It's not a show. There's no dancers or jugglers. It's basically a bloke talking, which is essentially what stand-up comedy is, isn't it? A bloke talking. Sexist. What about all the funny female comedians? Like, No. Right. No. I'm not doing that. Okay, right. That was irony. There's going to be a bit of that throughout the show. See if you can spot it, okay? Now, that's when I say something I don't really mean for comic effect, and you as an audience, you laugh at the wrong thing because you know what the right thing is. It's a way of satirising attitudes. Like that first joke, I used the old-fashioned sexist trope that women aren't funny. Now, in real life, I know there are loads of funny women. Like, I did it again. Well spotted. Good. But these people are virtue signalling. They're trying to bring people down to raise their own status. And they say it's because, no, we're protecting minorities. Like, they're basically saying minorities haven't got a sense of humour, which is so patronising. And I get that as...
Which is racist in and of itself. And the fact that nobody sees that is absolutely crazy to me. Because it's done not only with comedy, but, like, people taken up for stuff, but also the fact that so many of the people that they're trying to protect laugh at the joke because they understand what's being done, but also legislation wise and stuff like that. Like that, our politicians and that, like it's insane to me the amount of you can't do this yourself or you should be offended, and basically telling a set of people what should or shouldn't for them. Like it's that shouldn't happen. Like if you got that's racist or bigoted in and of itself. But it's kind racism or bigotry.
As well, what it's like to be outnumbered. In this country, we're still only 5% black, 5% Asian, 5% LGBTQ, you know, tiny numbers. Now, I'm a white, heterosexual multimillionaire, right? There's less than 1% of us. Do I whine? No. Do I don't mind. I just get...
I love how he threw himself into the minority numbers there. There's only 1% of us. Yo. Oh my God.
Get on with it. Come on, Rick. Come on, Rick. Just keep I'm like Rosa Parks. Do you know what I mean? Except I fought for the right to never have to take a seat on a bus. But...
Pondering whether to change any of the words of use in my work after I'm dead to spare those who are fragile and easily offended. Words like fat and ugly, cunt, fuck, fat, ugly, greedy, pathetic, little. Yo. Banned words, no reason. I love how he pokes fun at stuff,
when
man.
I start on a contentious subject, I feel the tension. Like, oh, is this going to be all right? Are we being allowed to laugh?
Yeah.
And I take them through a scary forest and out the other side, and it's always okay. And they, phew, right? And I think that's the important thing, because I've often said that people get offended when they mistake the subject of a joke with the actual target.
Yeah.
And they're not necessarily the same thing. You can make jokes about any subject. It depends what the joke is.
Yeah.
There's no rules. You can't joke about this. You can.
You should be
You
able
just
to.
can.
Yeah.
Okay. And there's nothing sacred.
Well, that's the
really.
point. There's nothing sacred. So
Yeah.
everything should be subject to ridicule.
Yeah.
I mean, even just to force you to understand, think about it more.
I know. But people then they go, wow, yeah, but you shouldn't hurt people's feelings. Well, you can if their feelings are wrong.
Yeah.
You know, if you don't like the facts, don't change the facts, change the feelings.
Yeah.
You know. I did think of adopting for a while. A little.
Bro, I like his take on a lot of this stuff.
Third world child, because that would tick all three boxes, wouldn't it? You know, you think of it like, one, I wouldn't be adding to the population problem. I'd be alleviating an existing problem. A young kid born through no fault of his own into abject poverty. He would have died without me. I can literally save his life and give him a great upbringing, right? Two, he would be grateful, wouldn't he? He'd want to pay me back, wouldn't he? Particularly if I let him know that all the other kids in the village, they weren't so lucky, they didn't make it out. I'd tell him that early on, so he really bucked his ideas up. I'd go, Tundi, come here. Yeah. Go and pop a shirt on. You're not in Africa now, mate. That's better. Yeah. Tundi, yeah. Water straight out of a tap, and yes. No, it's not free, it's Hampstead. Yeah, of course it's safe. Safe. Fresh drinking water. Have as much as you want. Have a bucket full. Straight out of a tap. Fresh drinking water. There you go. Go and clean the car. Go on. When someone says...
Yo, I agree with a lot of what he's saying. And on the subject of, like, with the women and the trans stuff, like, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying... Here's my issue that I have. I love the community. Absolutely love the community. I think if you feel that way, you should have the rights to happiness and enjoyment in the way that you see fit. Here's my issue. There's too many people I feel have jumped on that bandwagon, as they've done with others, to feel special. And the people who actually feel that way, I think a lot of times they aren't as militant, aren't as offended, and in some cases they have every right to be whenever they do, but for the most part, the way people are getting offended now, it just, a lot of the conversation or rights and stuff like that are going to be muddied until it's shown that you can't take and make everyone see it your way. Regardless of anything, not everybody's going to take and support you. And that should be okay, because that's their right as well. Now, they shouldn't take and discriminate against you or anything of that nature, but this pushback and this perpetual offensiveness over anything that takes and threatens an identity that's wrapped up within if your whole identity is that you're trans or you feel a certain way, you need to take and do more digging, because not everybody is going to see things your way. And that's the issue I have, because not everybody is going to agree with things. You shouldn't be discriminated against whatsoever. 100% believe that. You should not be discriminated against whatsoever. And you shouldn't have any harm brought your way in a physical nature. Whatever happened to sticks and stones? Whatever happened to sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Like, I remember that growing up vividly. Granted, words do have a bigger effect sometimes than what people let on, but if it's just words, you can cut these people out. You don't have to deal with people. But to take and force how you yourself and what you are or what you're doing or how you feel on other people and try to make them acquiesce to that. That's part of the woke culture that I find absolutely revolting. Stand up for other people's rights to take and be themselves, but do not force what you're thinking on other people. Do not force what you feel you should have access to on other people other than through legislative means. If you're offended by something, by all means, be offended by it. But you shouldn't try to legislate or cancel out someone who has an opinion that differs from yours. And for me, that's my problem with a lot of the culture that is happening today, just in general. You ain't even got to take and put any of the LGBTQ community within it, because it's not even the whole community that does that. It's not even. You've got Republicans that do it. You've got Democrats, liberals, conservative. Like, you've got everybody is trying to cancel everybody because somebody says something to hurt somebody else's feelings. And I'm sorry, that's just not right. I don't care where you sit with anything. I don't care if you're straight. I don't care if you're conservative. I don't care if you're liberal. I don't care if you're trans. I don't care what your situation is. Just because something offends you, you should not try to take and cancel someone or try to go after them or have them lose their job. That's fucking horseshit. You're a piece of shit person if you do that. This is one of those videos that's going to be demonetized strictly for my language in it. But for me, in my opinion, unless someone is verbally, not even verbally, but physically tries to harm you, words are words. That's going to show their ignorance, and in life, that's going to catch up to them. Unless they try to physically hurt you, if they say stupid stuff to you, say stupid stuff back. Don't try to get people fired. Don't try to get people canceled, especially whenever so much stuff is taken out, either out of context or something that's happened 10, 15, 20 years ago that's come to the spotlight when they're in a different place in their life is held against them. That's absolutely insane to me. Absolutely insane. And both sides do it. All sides at this point do it. I think the whole woke, and a lot of people attributing woke to liberals and stuff like that, is absolutely asinine as well, because people that identify as conservative are just as bad. Oh, they said this or they did this, that cancel them. I'm not going to spend my money here. It's like, bro, everybody's woke. It's just, it seems like the whole world is woke, but it's their own brand of woke. And I think there's hypersensitivity that's going on all sides entirely too much. That being said, whether you agree with this or you disagree or parts of it or whatever, my opinion, I really don't give a shit. It's my opinion. You can feel how you want to feel. It's just, I try to be nice, and I think that's the thing that everybody should try to do. Just be a good human being to each other. If you say something I don't agree with, bro, I can always take and scroll on. Now, if you if you verbally attack me, I'm gonna take and give you shit back. But you know, even then, I might still heart your comment and not say anything. 'Cause it's easier to just take and be nice and move on than it is to take and be an absolute asshole and be perpetually offended or be perpetually, I don't care for. Just be nice. Be a good human being to each other. If everybody treated others the way they wanted to be treated, if we were nice to each other and cared for ourselves as well, we'd be in a much better place in society than what we are now. Because you might take offense to something someone says, but you could go down the road. I don't. It seems like the whole world is woke. It's just whatever brand of woke that you subscribe to, whether it be liberal woke, conservative woke, or whatever. When I say conservative woke, I mean taking and talking about, oh my God, they're selling this in their stores. I'm not going to take and shop there anymore. But yet you're going to shop at these other places to take and donate to the same thing, or the same causes that this other store just selling the merchandise that takes and funds the same thing. Like, what? Make it make fucking sense here. Or I'm not going to drink this beer because... Well, then what are you going to drink? Because 90% of the craft breweries in this country are owned by them, it seems like. And they all donate. I'm not going to watch Disney. Well, how about the other 900 freaking entities that they own? Or even food brands that they take and have part of. Like, you cut off your nose to spite your face and you're being absolutely asinine about it. I understand taking a stand for personal belief, but in this day and age, doing it monetarily is not exactly going to take and get you anywhere. It'll take and get you to where you're eating just salad. And even then you have to take and make sure who owns it, who they're a subsidy of. Just throwing that out there. Like, it's gone insane on all sides. Just be nice to each other, man. Be nice. You won't have to worry about woke people. Just be nice. Y'all be good to each other. Love yourselves. Peace.